September 21st, Planetary Calendar 209. Following a raft of oppressive policies and crackdowns from the Earth-based government of the Solar Federation, the joint forces of the Martian territories and the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet rebelled. This conflict came to be known as the Solar War. The war carried on for 3 years, but eventually the combined forces of the Martian territories and the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet managed to push the Federation military all the way back to the planet Earth. In the final days of the conflict, a pitched battle was fought in lunar orbit that would decide the war's victor. Lunar orbit, aboard the Jovian carrier JFS Calicae. You reflexively tighten your grip on your armored frame's twin flight sticks as another wave of vibrations reverberates through the cockpit. The creak of your new flight suit and your quickening breath are the only sounds that you hear above the gentle hum of the frame's subsystems. As you squeeze the controls tighter, their plastic casings creak under the pressure. You try and stay calm, knowing that these gentle vibrations are remnants of huge shockwaves that are buffeting Calicae, the carrier that you're stationed on. Each one is a near miss as an explosion tears through space around the ship. You try to push the thought from your mind and focus on controlling your breathing, but you've already realized that their frequency means the Calicae must be approaching the front line. You feel your throat tighten. Simulations are as good as the real thing. That's what your trainer told all of you. But you know that pilots are supposed to have hundreds of hours of live flights and training exercises in real armored frames before they're allowed anywhere near the front lines. Of course, that didn't happen. Command had told you that modern simulators meant cadets could graduate without the need for these exercises. You overheard the rumors though. The Jovian colony fleet had lost a lot of pilots and, still wanting to keep pace with the Martian advance against Earth, have resorted to fielding anyone who could fight. Your whole squadron's just like you, freshly conscripted from Europa Colony. You'd undergone basic training there, but almost all of your flight training had taken place on the cruiser's journey from Jovian space. You wonder how the others are feeling right now, whether... Calicae 5, this is flight deck. We're preparing your squad for takeoff, doing last-minute diagnostics on your frame, activating all systems. Now. Alright, looks all good to go. We'll run a few more checks, then we'll have you spaceborne in a few minutes. Ready to show those Terrans who's boss? Damn straight, ready to kick some ass. Yeah, can't wait to get out there. I'm gonna... You stammer, trying your best to convince not the engineer but yourself that you're ready for what's waiting for you. Whoa, take a breath there, Calicae 5. It's not gonna be that bad out. No need to get all riled up here in the hangar. Tell you what, pilot, what's your name? We'll go with my usual. What's your surname? Him. Yes, Fox Sly. Okay, Ensign Sly, first up, take a few deep breaths for me, in and out, nice and slow. You got that? Okay. Draw in one long measured breath and hold it, and release it. Following the engineer's instructions, we repeat this a few more times. After a while, you can begin to feel your pulse slow and some of the tension in your body slip away. You still feel on edge, but feel slightly more in control. Alright, here we go. Now listen up, Ensign. You ain't got a thing to worry about out there. The way I've heard it is that all the Terrans' best pilots were taken care of between here and Mars. Heck, Martians are the ones who have been leading the charge today, so they're the ones taking all the flack. Propaganda machines selling this as our decisive strike against Earth's last line of defense. But between you and me, ain't nothing more than mopping up situation. A buddy of mine in operations said as much in the canteen last night. Besides, you hear a dull ring over the comms and sit bolt upright in your seat, slouching back and exhaling as you realize it's nothing more than the engineer striking the cockpit armor on your frame. This beauty here is a work of art. Terran Frames ain't got nothing on her. He's all tuned up and ready to go. Probably spent more time with this one than I have with my own kid, so don't you worry. Remember what they taught you in training and leave the rest up to her and you'll come out of this just fine. Despite your startled reaction a moment ago, the engineer's confidence is infectious and it's starting to rub off on you. You adjust your position in your seat so that you're sat up straight and the soft hum of the frame system now seems more comforting than ominous. Just a mopping up operation, you think? Martians have done all the work, so we're sitting pretty here in the top of the line frames. Yeah, nothing to worry about. Swinson Sly, how are you feeling about things now? Feeling good, ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to get out there and kick some ass, you declare, channeling your newly tapped well of confidence. That's the spirit, Ensign. Now hang on to that and we'll have you out in these hangar doors and kicking Terrans around in no time. Left alone with your thoughts, you tune back into the gentle hum of the frame. You watch the seconds tick away in the cockpit clock whilst you wait for the order to launch. Wait seems to drag on and on. You carry out a few last-minute flight checks, but as you already completed them when you boarded, nothing has changed. All right, pilots, listen up. This is Calico 1. You've been cleared for launch, so be ready for immediate action. All frames will be taking off in designation order. Attack formation, sound off. Calico 2, ready. This is Calico 3, ready. Calico 4 here, ready for takeoff. Calico 5, confirm your status. Oh, yeah, Calico 5, standing by. You get together, Calico 5. Calico 6? Calico 6, ready. All right, Calico Squadron, move out. Calico 1, launching. Calico 2, launching. Calico 3, launched. Calico 4, moving out. The roll call of your squadron as they depart from the ship and accelerate rapidly towards the combat zone sounds almost like a countdown to you. Once Calico 4 has declared their launch, you know your time has come. You disengage the restraints and prepare yourself. Calico 5, launching. You shout as you slam the flight sticks forward for maximum thrust. Calico 5, abort launch. Cut thrusters. Calico 5, abort launch. Cut thrusters. The engineer's instructions barely register in the confusion as you're jerked around in the cockpit, your helmet slamming on the control panel as a brief moment of thrust throws you back into your seat before you're whipped forward again. Warnings flash all over your monitors and sirens and alerts sound from all over the cockpit. Calico 5, abort launch and cut thrusters. It takes a few seconds for you to comprehend the engineer, but once you do, you quickly pull the flight sticks back to their neutral position. The roar of your frame's engine dies and your cockpit regains its previous stillness. You wince as the metallic taste of blood fills your mouth. Alright, Calico 5, hang tight for a moment. Your frame's restraints didn't accept a disengage command. You're still attached to the Calico. We're gonna need to run a diagnostic. Shouldn't take too long. You slump in the cockpit's chair and exhale deeply. Your heart's still pounding a million beats per minute, and your lips stinging. You continue to slow your breathing as you listen to the still open communications channel from the maintenance crew as they work to get your frame released. Hey, yeah, looks like the restraints disengage command didn't register. Yeah, Unit 5. All right. Yeah. Get Unit 6 out. No sense waiting for this one. Okay, start the diagnostic and reboot if necessary. Calico 6 launching. do you mean hardware fault? Check this 10 times since Mars at least. Was assigned Unit 5? Oh, fine, right. Shut down systems and run the diagnostic again. I want this frame out there in the next 5 minutes. Helica 5, we're gonna shut down your frame systems for a moment so we can run diagnostics. Stay ready though, we'll have you launching soon. Helica 5, understood. Ready and waiting. As your cockpit fades to darkness again, you release the flight sticks and suddenly realize just how long you've been clenching your fists around them. You flex your fingers and roll your shoulders, exhaling again as you begin to hear the muffled sounds of the engineers working on your frame's restraints. Staring at the dead monitor, you slowly begin to smile. This is what you wanted, wasn't it? You spent so long worrying about this mission that you'd thrown up twice in the past 24 hours and now it looks like that was all for nothing. You got what you wanted, and you were safe. As safe as you can be, strapped to the outside of a military carrier in an inactive armored frame anyway. Your smile widens inadvertently at that thought, getting shot down in an inactive frame still in its restraints. You become a cautionary tale for engineers and pilots throughout the entire Jovian colony fleet. Your mind turns quickly to the rest of your squadron. When they return, you'd be the laughingstock of the entire Calico. The pilot who'd spent their entire first mission stuck in a dark cockpit. You dodged a bullet, but you'd never... This is Calico 6. They cut off the flight path. There's more. There's a whole squadron of carriers coming in from E-Field. Calico 1, they're gonna cut you off from the fleet. Calico 6's signal disappearing as you sit bolt upright as you begin pressing buttons trying to activate your cockpit's main monitor so you can see what's going on. However, your frame system shut down remotely by the maintenance crew, you can do nothing but sit in the dark stillness and listen to events unfold. Calico 6, respond! Calico 6, what's going on? How many carriers are coming in from E-Field? Ma'am, Calico 6's signal has been lost. It's not responding. Ma'am, Hold it together, Calico 4. All units form up. Defensive formation on me. I said all units, Calico 2. Don't break formation. Ma'am, they're firing on us. There's so many of them. Oh God, ma'am, help. In an instant, your communication channel is flooded with cries of terror and panic. You hear your squad mates, your fellow pilots, exclamations of fear as this unexpected enemy force bears down on them. Screams and yelps, wails and howls fill your head as you sit powerless in the dark confines of your cockpit. Hey, who's out there? Engineering, hey, get me ready, I can help. Get me ready to launch engineering. They're getting killed out there, I need to go, now. You shout demands to get your frame ready for launch over the channel, but are met with no response. In the dark of the cockpit, with your controls unresponsive, you can't be sure whether the channel is closed or if no one's listening. All attention turns to receiving the battle's damaged units from your squad. Listen to me, anyone, get me out there! You desperately begin attempting a manual override of your systems, but find that nothing responds to you. The only spark of life that you can glean from your frame is the small diagnostics progress bar. I need to be out there, anyone, hey! In one last desperate attempt, you begin hammering on your cockpit walls, hoping to get the attention of the engineers you could hear outside earlier. The entire time, the chaos of the combat out in space is narrated to you in broken fragments of radio chatter. There's 3, 4 on me. I've lost my shield. I can't shake them. They're everywhere. The line of retreat's totally cut off. We can't get back to the ship. Ma'am, what do we do? What do we do? Stop panicking and form up. 3 and 4 on me. We're gonna punch a hole through their formation and... Ma'am, come in. Ma'am. Oh no. Oh God. Oh. One by one, your squad signals disappear. The cacophony of panic disappears, replaced by the gentle hiss of static. You stop hammering on the side of your cockpit as the last voice is cut off. You're drenched in a cold sweat now, and your empty stomach feels like a rock has sunk to the bottom of it. You lean back and stare blankly ahead. This is Calico 5. ready for takeoff. September 21st, Planetary Calendar 209. Despite last-minute reinforcements for the Solar Federation from their headquarters on Earth, the battle above Lunar is a victory for the joint Martian and Jovian forces. This would be the final battle of the Solar War. Having lost their last stronghold on Lunar, the Solar Federation would agree to a ceasefire and sign an armistice to end all hostilities. An uneasy peace fills the solar system. The conflict between the Solar Federation and Martian-Jovian alliance concluded. The Calicae and her crew soon returned to the Europa colony or Jupiter. April 19th, Planetary Calendar 214. The reduced need for pilots away from the delicate space between Earth and Mars saw Ensign Sly reassigned to security detail aboard the various Jovian ships. He's eventually promoted to lieutenant. 4 years have passed since the battle above Lunar. The Jovian colony fleet, fearing fresh aggression from Earth, has increased patrols near its colonies after picking up unusual signals coming from further out in the solar system. Patrol ship JFS Gundog is dispatched to support the JFS O'Brien in its investigation of these signals. Jovian space. Aboard the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. As the rumble of the Gundog's engines roaring to life reverberates through the ship, you clench your fist. It's been 4 years to this day, and to this day, the sensation of tremors, whether they're ship engines, docking clamps, or weapon drills, still ties your stomach into knots. A bad trait for a ship's security officer. You shake your head and exhale slowly, taking a moment before stowing the last of your possessions and pushing the drawer closed. You feel the click as it locks into place. The exterior plastic paneling sits completely flush with its surroundings. Stepping back, you look around the room. You take another deep breath and hold it for a moment. Although this was far from your first posting as a security officer, you always felt the same sense of trepidation, if not anxiety. As similar as all the ships were, they all came with their own unique crews and personalities, and with those came unique problems. Breathing out, you take a look around the room, taking stock of your surroundings. Select the look button to examine your surroundings by selecting items of interest. Select it again when you're done. Alright, so let's have a look around. The standard crew's bunk. Once you've slept in one, you've slept in them all. Although, this is one of the nicer ones I've been assigned to. The wall panel can be removed by jimmying it with a thin object, and crew members often stash contraband there. Looks like this one's not been touched though. This lets me control the room's lighting from the bed. I keep my books here too. I'm currently reading the Tales of the Cosmic Champions series. This terminal lets me access the ship's computer. It's got a clock, a word processor, and even a calendar. I can also access records and my orders from here, but for anything else I need to access the core, which is limited to those in operations or command. A standard door with an electronic lock and magnet bolting system. The only way in or out, unless you plan on getting creative with maintenance tunnels. It's just a normal storage unit. I travel light, so mine only has clothes in it. That's pretty much everything in the room. Select the Use button to interact with your surroundings by selecting specific objects to use them. There we go. The light switch for the rest of the room is here. Should I use it? Yeah, let's see. Oh, that can get freaky in some areas. Okay. Only just boarded and still in the middle of the day based on Jovian Standard Time. Yes. Oh, looks like I've been instructed to report to the bridge to meet the captain. I haven't met anyone yet since my transport to the spaceport ran late and I just about made it on board before launch. Alright, I guess we're moving. You step out into an empty corridor and the door to your quarters gently hisses shut behind you. Its keypad gives a short series of beeps and you hear the locking gauge. The dull thrum of the ship's systems is barely audible, but otherwise you're stood in total silence. The air is cooler outside of your quarters and the corridor has a sterile lack of aroma. This has been the same on every ship you've been stationed on and at this point, it doesn't surprise you. Okay, so this is a Swift-class patrol vessel, which means if I leave this quarters block, I'll be in the foreside thoroughfare. If I go right towards the aft, I'll arrive in the central hub and then I can head to the bridge. Let's look around. Dalton Grange. Not someone I've met before. Haru Rumney. Doesn't sound familiar. Hansen Crwys. Crwys. I want to say that's Crwys. Dees. Can't say I've run into them on any other ship. You leave the crew block behind you and find yourself in a much larger corridor. It stretches off to your left with multiple smaller corridors leading from it. To your right, the corridor leads to a large plaza-like space. A very faint breeze coming from your left ruffles your hair and chills you slightly. You hear the sounds of human activity. On the right, you can hear the hum of the ship's engines more clearly now, as well as the occasional low, quiet, whirring sound. Looks like I was right. This portion of the thoroughfare will let me access both sets of crew quarters, the mess hall, the hangar, and the central hub. From there, I can access the rest of the ship's areas. I should hurry up and meet the captain before I look around anywhere else. The ship's hangar. Since I'm on security detail, the only time I should be spending there is when I'm carrying out my daily checks. On a larger ship, you see people coming and going constantly, but it's eerie how quiet this one is. The mess hall. I don't imagine a ship this size has a cook or even a kitchen, so it's probably just a vendmate unit. I wonder if I could be down that way. Fire control, maybe? Gotta meet the captain. I'm sure I'll have plenty of opportunities to check it out later. Alright, fine. As you enter the control hub, the central hub, you hear a low whirring noise and the engines grow louder. You can see the readouts above one of the elevators change, letting you know someone is using it to travel to another part of the ship. Looking around, you see the entrances to both the fore and aft side thoroughfares, as well as the corridor to the airlocks. These elevators will take me to the bridge where the captain will be. I shouldn't waste any more time. That's the foreside thoroughfare where I've just come from. The crew's quarters, hangar, and mess hall are all down that way. Probably. We know that. That way leads to the aft of the ship. I'm not totally familiar with the Swift-class ships, but at least I know that the engine room is that way. Most of the ships can be accessed from the two thoroughfares, but some areas like the bridge are situated on different levels, so need to be accessed by elevator. There should be access for maintenance crawlways around here somewhere, but those are usually only for emergencies. Yeah, same thing. Alright, let's move. Knowing that you need to report to the captain, who, at this point of the ship's journey, should be stationed on the bridge, you make your way towards the elevators and press the call button. You step back and watch the indicators above each elevator waiting for one to arrive. As you wait, your mind begins to wander and you're caught unaware as you feel something suddenly jab into your back. A voice from behind you declares, "Hands in the air, identify yourself." Your posture stiffens as you snap back to reality, caught completely off guard by the voice behind you. Thoughts race through your mind as you try to figure out what's going on. Could there already be another security detail on board? That shouldn't be possible. As far as you knew, you were the only one, unless... I said hands in the air, punk! You tentatively raise your hands, palms flat and facing forwards, as whatever has been thrust into the small of your back is removed slowly, and you hear the person behind you take a step backwards. You exhale and begin to turn around. Lieutenant Sly, security detail, ID SO254 JFSG. I'm on my way to meet the captain to... Where you've been expecting a gruff crew member, instead, you're met with a bright and cheery officer waving a pen around with a large smile on her face. You're taken aback for a moment, as this isn't just any officer. This is... Cassie? What are you... Fox, I've missed you so much. You big doofus. You should have seen your face when you turned around. You were all... I love that face you make when you think you're in trouble. It's like you think playing the big soldier will get you out of trouble. It's so cute. Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn. You should have known, really. She's always been one for bad jokes and stupid pranks as long as you've known her. Her less than professional attitude and penchant for irresponsibility is the reason why, despite her talents, she's not commanding a ship of her own. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how good did I get you? You totally thought you were being busted, right? If you're being honest, her playful nature is what attracted you to her in the first place. You've been dating for nearly 2 years now, but a lot of that has been over electronic mail or in letters. Your postings have never lined up until now. Cassie, what are you doing here? I thought you were stationed on the Reliant. You never said you were being transferred. What happened? Well, the thing about that is, you might say that a disagreement with the head of operations on the Reliant led to a lateral trajectory for my career. Cassandra, please. Okay, so maybe when it came time to change the ship's cybersecurity passwords, I couldn't be bothered to spend all day sitting in the computer core, waiting for it to generate new code, so I just changed all the existing passwords by a single digit. You place your face in your hands as a dull groan rises from the back of your throat. This isn't the first time you've heard a story like this. And maybe it turns out when they run the cybersecurity drills, they assume that the enemy have your old passwords, so they try brute forcing from those. And maybe that meant the ship was compromised in 0.5 seconds? But at least they found out that I'd done that in a drill and not in a real engagement, right? Basically saved the entire ship in advance. I'm surprised you're still even stationed on a ship. How are you not stuck back in a records room at Europa Colony right now? Well, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but if I can't trust you, who can I trust? It turns out this mission was organized at really short notice, and the Gundog was the only ship available. The problem was that they've been having issues with the crew, so they had to transfer some in short notice. Lucky for me that I'd so recently been made available. Weird. That's weird. I'd only just been stationed on the Duke, so I shouldn't have been free to be transferred. Okay, so you figured it out. I may have used one of my contacts from the Academy who works in resource to transfer you over here. I'm pretty sure you know every regulation you broke by doing that. Oh, what was I supposed to do? Get stationed to some tiny ship heading out to the middle of nowhere with no one I know on the crew? We hadn't seen each other in months. Aren't you glad to see me? Of course I'm glad to see you. I missed you too, you know. It's been a long time. You don't become part of the Reliance Operations Department without some serious talent. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, you said you were on your way to see the captain, right? Have you had a chance to take a look around the ship yet? No, not yet. I was going to. Great! I'll show you around. I've been here a few days, so I basically know this ship like the back of my hand. Where do you want to go first? I was on my way to see the captain. Felt the engine start up, so I know They're launching soon, and I thought that I should probably report in as soon as possible. Oh, don't worry about that. I've already logged you on board, so it's just a formality now. Besides, Captain Bartermews isn't exactly a stickler for procedure, so we can check out anywhere you want before we head up there. Well, alright, in that case. Great! This is gonna be the best tour you've ever been on. By the time it's over, you'll have seen every inch of this ship and met everyone on board. It's been so long since we last saw each other, too. You definitely need to take time to stop by my quarters and get reacquainted. You can now access every area of the Gundog. Click the talk button to view a list of who's available to talk to. Look around at the central hub as Cassandra already begins to make her way to your first destination, waving at you to follow. It might be a small ship, you think, but now would be the perfect opportunity to learn its layout, familiarize yourself with it where you'll be spending your current duty. Plus, you admit, it wouldn't hurt to meet all the crew, better to get to know them sooner rather than later. You know, it's kind of funny now that I think about it. What is? This area is called the Central Hub, but to be honest, the only places you can get to straight away from here are the airlock, sickbay, or the bridge. Well, it's right in the middle of the ship, so it connects everything together via the two thoroughfares, right? Kinda, but if you want to get to engineering, do some mechanical work, you got a long way to go that way. If you want to do pretty much anything else, you gotta go the other way. The four-side thoroughfare is way more of a hub since you can get to all sorts of places really quickly. Get some snacks from the mess hall and take back to your quarters? Easy. If you want a quick soda while taking audit in the hangar, you're there and back in no time. They should move the bridge to the front of the ship. It sounds to me like you just want a vending machine on the bridge. Hey, that's not a bad idea. But still, it's a long way to get to the other end of the ship no matter where you're going from. How would you solve that problem? Maybe change the shape of the ship so the center is really the center? It's space, so you can make a really efficient shape like a cube or something. Cube? This could be efficient, but I don't think anyone would take a cube-shaped ship seriously. I guess we can go to sickbay. The elevator doors hiss open and you both step out into a wide open room. You're immediately struck by the glare of the high-powered lights that are set into the ceiling, and just as you regain your vision, the powerful aroma of clinical disinfectant burns at your nostrils. Looking around, you can see the standard features of a sickbay: a set of beds that extrude from the wall on one side and a large gallery window set into the wall on the other, indicating the presence of a surgery wing. The walls are lined with cupboards and cabinets containing medical supplies and various devices sit on countertops. In the middle of the room is a large desk set to face the entrance. In the side closet view are two chairs on the other, and on the other sits a figure that you almost mistake for a piece of medical equipment until they look up. Miss Quinn, excellent timing. I just finished the analysis of your... Hey Doc, don't worry about that right now. Giving the tour to our new security officer. Very good, Miss Quinn. Hello, Lieutenant Sly. I'm the ship's doctor. Seifer Rosarium. Reviewed your file already, so please feel free to stop by with any complaints. But since you're here, Miss Quinn, I'd really like to talk to you about your Honestly, Doctor, it's fine. We can talk about it. Intestinal. Doctor, later! Distress. Okay, Doctor, a moment, please. Honey, if you could just give me a few minutes with the doctor. Yeah, no problem. Cassandra grabs the doctor by his sleeve and drags him over to the surgery wing, yanking him through behind her. Once the door closes, you can't hear them. You can still see the two through the gallery window. You decide to turn your attention away and examine a nearby poster on space illnesses. Yes, thank you. Doctor, I understand. But that includes any synthetic meats or carbohydrates. Understood. As I've explained, I've got a full supply of NutriShake powders that should serve as a balanced replacement for the meals from the food vendor and should alleviate your... Doctor! Tummy troubles. Oh, man. This tour is moving on. So we met Dr. Rosarium. Tell me more about her tummy troubles. Oh, Lieutenant, are you feeling unwell? No, I'm feeling fine. Have you come to pick up any medication? No, I'm totally all right, thanks. Have you come in for a precautionary checkup? No, nothing like that. And are you here to ask about my mechanical elements? What? No, of course not. Oh. Well, in that case, Lieutenant Sly, I'm not sure I can help you today. Don't worry about it. Want to talk about your tummy troubles? So, I swear. That one for patient-doctor confidentiality? That man is like a laser beam. He gets straight to whatever task is in front of him with no time for things like common courtesy, bedside manner, or privacy. Yeah, I got that impression. The worst part is that after all that, he tells me I'm allergic to the synthetic elements they use in the mess hall's food vendor. Do you believe I'm on a NutriShake diet between now and when we can return to port? I thought those ingredients were supposed to be hypoallergenic, no animal products suitable for everyone. I know, but the doctor's saying that's a rare condition that means I react to one of the compounds they use in production. No more hamburgers for you. There's one silver lining. What's that? The vending machines use real ingredients. Chocolate and chips are still on the menu. An important part of any balanced diet. Forsyth Thoroughfare. As you head away from the central hub, noise from the engine becomes quieter, and the ambient temperature feels noticeably cooler. The thoroughfare stretches out in front of you, with doorways leading to the other areas of the ship visible in the distance. And here we are in the Forsyth Thoroughfare. I know, I went to my quarters earlier when I came aboard. What did you just say? Forsyth Thoroughfare? No, I don't think you did. I 100% said Forsyth Thoroughfare. Aha! It's a tricky thing to say. You try saying it quickly. Forsyth Thoroughfare. Forsyth Thoroughfare. Forsyth Thoroughfare. Aha! Yourself. We'll call this one a draw, Lieutenant. The Hangar. That could be the next stop on the tour, I guess. Sure. As the two of you head down the Forsyth Thoroughfare, away from the crew quarters, Cassie stops by a double-sized doorway and runs her keycard through the reader next to it. Watch your step, she instructs, tapping her knuckles on a large warning sign next to the door. It reads Low Gravity Zone. Once the door opens, she heads through and you follow her into a wide stairwell. It only takes 2 sets of steps before you can feel yourself grow lighter. By the time you reach a doorway at the bottom, you're almost floating. Stepping into the hangar onto the catwalk, the first thing that strikes you are the profiles of the 2 armored frames stood as if on guard facing into the main area of the hangar. Although you fully expected to see them here, every Jovian ship features at least a few. The sight of the armored frame stirs uncomfortable memories in you, and you inadvertently grit your teeth and squeeze the handrail you grab tightly. Memories. Ma'am, they're firing on us. There's so many of them. Oh God, ma'am, help. The line of retreat's totally cut off. We can't get back to the ship. Ma'am, what do we do? What do we do? Stop panicking and form up. 3 and 4, on me. We're gonna punch a hole through their formation and... Yep. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I think it's just a change in gravity level. Left me a little bit queasy. I know how you feel. I was late for a hangar audit once and rushed down straight after a big lunch. I was moving so fast that with the gravity shift, my stomach contents couldn't keep up. Gross. Tell me about it. I did everything I could to keep my mouth shut. You know the rule for low gravity zones. What you spew is left up to you. I was gonna be late and on cleanup duty. Speaking of duties, shouldn't there be someone around here? Dalton should be around here somewhere. If you're feeling funny, stay here for a moment and I'll go see if I can find him. Sure. You watch as, despite the 15-meter difference between catwalk and the hangar floor, Cassie nonchalantly places her 2 hands on the handrail and deftly vaults over it into the emptiness. Thanks to the low gravity, she doesn't fall but instead kicks off the railing, propelling herself through the air. As Cassandra drifts off, eventually catching onto one of the armored frame's legs, using it to swing herself around to float in a different direction, you place your elbow on the railing and your hand in your head. Turn your attention back to the stoic features in the armored frame's heads inside deeply. Your attention is caught by the cockpit hatch on one of the frames being half open. Looking around, you see everything as you expect. Armor frame weapon racks, storage containers, various equipment, all that restrained appropriately and fastidiously arranged. The cockpit hatch is the only thing that breaks the pattern. It's weird. I can't find him anywhere. I know it's definitely his shift right now, so he should be around somewhere. Looking past Cassandra at the armored frame with the ajar cockpit hatch, the thought strikes you. I think I might have an idea. Follow me. You carry out the same vaulting maneuver that Cassie had performed and kick off towards the machine's huge cockpit. Once close enough, you grab a hold of its arm and pull yourself up towards the open hatch. A few seconds later, Cassie appears beside you. You both notice the sound of a gentle snoring coming from within the cockpit. Well, Lieutenant Commander, I think this is an operations issue, so I'll let you handle it. Leaving the discipline out to me again, huh? Cassandra nimbly clambers up the armored frame, positioning herself right above the cockpit. Bracing herself on the machine's chest, she brings her heel down sharply and repeatedly on the armor. Cadet Grange, attention! You hear a muffled scream from within the cockpit, followed by a dull thud, a string of muttered cursing, and then finally, a figure emerges from the cockpit. Ma'am, I was just checking the calibrations. The calibrations on the AF. I got some feedback that... Oh, it's just you, Commander Quinn. Excuse me, just? Is that how you address a superior officer, Cadet? Ma'am, no ma'am. I was not expecting to see you in the hangar, ma'am. Okay, you can tone it down a bit, Dalton. Oh, yes, ma'am? Good enough, I suppose. Anyway, Cadet, this is Lieutenant Sly, Ship Security Officer. Oh, sir, Cadet Dalton Grange, Junior Engineer. Good to meet you, Cadet. Looks like they got you working hard. Looks like, no, sir. Well, that is, yes, sir, but not so hard. I'm falling asleep. No, sir, I was recalibrating the sensor array on the... Take it easy, Cadet. We've all taken a nap in a cockpit in our lives. Well, of course, we never took cockpit naps with the chief giving us our orders, so we probably need to get back on with whatever you were doing, huh? I totally forgot. He's gonna kill me. Good kid, right? I feel sorry for him already. Only meant Dalton. Hey, Cadet, how's it? Hey there, take it easy, it's just me. Oh, Lieutenant, sorry, I thought you were someone else. What's this crew possibly doing that's got you so jumpy? Oh, it's not the crew, it's just the chief. She really likes a surprise inspection and making sure that I'm working as fast as she expects me to. At least once a day, I think I'm alone somewhere, and then suddenly, Cadet Dalton, report! I don't know how she does it. I have an eye on the entrance the entire time, and she can still appear from nowhere. I think she uses the maintenance ducts. Okay, take it easy. I'm pretty sure it's just us in here. Okay, if you're sure. Anyway, how can I help, Lieutenant? I'm just getting to know the ship and its crew, finding out what they're all about. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So what are you up to here, Cadet? I'm actually working on 2 projects at the moment as part of my engineering degree. First is my own project, a high-density rapid expansion emergency sealant for hull breaches. I've been working on a compound that's designed to be released in case of a breach and seal up cracks to prevent atmosphere loss. That's pretty impressive. How's that going? Not too well, Lieutenant. intended to be used within the ship as a safety measure for the crew. But a technical officer who oversees my progress back at the academy has instructed me to find a way to weaponize it. He thinks it'll be good for immobilizing enemy AFs. It still seems like it's being put to good use if it's cutting down on casualties, don't you think? I guess so. What's the second? Oh, that's just something I'm working on for the chief. It's a set of modifications for a Juno to increase its mobility in space. To be honest, it's not too exciting. Just fine-tuning and adjustments. Oh, I'm sure you're doing a good job. Thanks, Lieutenant. Keep it up. I wish I'd worn my uniform trousers today. What's up? I was thinking we could play low-gravity tag or something, but now that Dalton's back up and about, we can't. I don't think he's gonna snitch on you anytime soon. It's not what I mean. Don't follow? Honestly, have you considered the issues of floating around in the skirt? Oh. Just count yourself lucky. I would have kicked your ass. Knowing Cassie's appetite for snacks, this will probably be the next place we go. The mess hall. And here we have the highlight of this entire tour, the mess hall. Cassandra's face is radiating happiness as she gestures through the double doorway that you're stood by into the mess hall. Looking inside, you see a canteen like any other. Tables, chairs, vending machines, it's all here. This is the highlight? Looks like a pretty standard mess hall to me. You bet. Don't you know why? Tell me. Because they got both of the different kinds of vending machines. The red one that stocks the spicy potato chips, and white one has all the different chocolate bars. Wow, so that's all bases covered, huh? Got all the fundamental food groups. I'm not sure. Hey, Quinn. A rough voice calls out from further in. You hadn't noticed them previously because of Cassandra's enthusiastic presentation of the vending machines, but someone in the far corner stands up, drops a half-smoked cigarette into the coffee cup, and strides over. What's going on, Quinn? Who's this? Lieutenant Rumney, were you just smoking in the mess hall? Ah, take it easy, Quinn. I was set right by the extractor vent for the meal vendor. No harm, no foul. It's not the point. The extra strain on the air scrubbers from cigarette. Yeah. So anyway, who's this hottie? Well, cat's got her tongue. Name's Haru Rumney. What about you, good looking? Oh, Lieutenant Fox Sly, ship security. Fox Sly? No way, really? Last time I checked. Well, alright, good to know. That's all for me, Sly. You know where my quarters are, right? Yeah, I do. Huh, nice. Catch you later. What was all that about? Cassie? You know where their room is, do you? I mean, I do. It's near mine. I didn't... That's not what the room is right by mine. You know, it's... Actually, don't worry about it. Oh, Cassie, before we go, you want something from the vending machine? Chocolate? Chips? Soda? Don't think I don't know what you're trying to do, Lieutenant. I promise I didn't get what Haru was saying about their room. Okay. It's gonna be a chocolate bar. Okay, sure. Wait, 2 chocolate bars. Sure. Wait, 3! Oh, God. I'm sure Cassie will show me what's down there soon enough. Moving beyond the mess hall and the hangar access, the two of you continue to the furthest end of the four-side thoroughfare. The door at the very end of the corridor is shut. Words fire control painted on it in large stenciled letters. Cassandra swipes her keycard through the reader by the door before turning to you. So this is fire control. The gunner's probably here, but well, you'll see. That's pretty cryptic. As you follow Cassandra through the doorway, your eyes take a moment to adjust as the strip lighting that illuminates the rest of the ship is now conspicuously absent. Instead, the entire room is lit by the phosphorescent glow of an alcove full of screens and readouts. Looking at the screens, each one seems to not be showing much more than a few specks on a black background. From experience, though, you know what you're looking at is a live feed from cameras all over the ship's exterior. The center of this alcove, facing away from you, is a seat like the ones on the bridge. From this angle, it's impossible to tell if there's anyone in it. You notice a tiny rhythmic hiss coming from it. Anyway, all the ship's weapon systems are controlled here. These screens give a gunner a panoramic view of, is the gunner here right now? You look over Cassandra's shoulder, the back of the seat. You swear you see a quick flicker of movement, but you can't be sure it's not just a flash of a readout reflecting off the surface. Oh, Dylan, yeah, he's here. We say hello? Well, normally I would, but Cassandra leans back slowly as if trying to surreptitiously sneak a peek at what's on the other side of the chair without it noticing her. She quickly turns back to you after a moment's pause. You just look so in the zone, you know? It seems a shame to interrupt them. Interrupt what? Cassandra leans back again and after a moment, quietly gestures for you to come take a look. Sat in a chair is a man who looks a little bit older than you. His eyes are closed, and his face a picture of absolute serenity. Over his ears is possibly the single largest pair of headphones you've seen in your entire life. As he sits there, oblivious to your presence, his right leg bounces up and down and his wrists flick constantly. You wonder for a moment if he's okay before spying a cassette player poking out of his jacket pocket. You realize that the hiss you hear is the slightest whisper of the music he's listening to escaping from those substantial headphones. Is this okay? Shouldn't he be a bit more attentive? Don't worry, it's fine. He's not even on duty. Yeah, but what if there's an alert? Let's find out. Cassandra moves over to a panel just before the monitor, laid in an alcove, takes the receiver off the wall, and enters a few numbers into the keypad. Hi, Vanessa. Yeah, it's Cassie. Can we test the alert system in fire control? No, I know it's not scheduled. It's a spot check. Yeah, random testing, you know? Chief's orders. Of course she asked. Why would I be asking for a spot test of the alert in fire control if Chief didn't ask? You're a darling, thanks. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Loud! In an instant, you see the figure in the chair bolt upright, yank his headphones off, and lay his hand on the fire control systems. His head snapping back and forth as he rapidly surveys the wall of monitors. False alarm? Hey, Dylan, don't mind us. Just had to do a spot check on the alarm system. Chief's orders. Oh, hey, Quinn, no problem. Who's this? Lieutenant Fox Sly, Ship Security. Oh, hey, Warrant Officer Dylan Dees, Gunner. Welcome aboard. Thanks. Well, let me know if you guys need anything. That alert totally got me in the way of an awesome solo. I'm gonna rewind and pick up where I left off. Good to meet you? Oh, that's Dylan. Warrant Officer Dees? Warrant Officer Dees? Dylan. Oh, hey, Lieutenant. How's it going? Not bad, thanks. I was wondering if you could explain the control system here to me. It doesn't look anything like what I've seen before. Oh yeah. If you've not been on a small ship like the Gundog, it probably does look weird. Bigger ships have more crew spares so they can have old-fashioned turret operators. On a ship like this, there's only one dude flying solo. The whole ship's optimized to let them run the entire weapon system alone. Each of these trackballs lines up with a different weapon system, which is represented by a reticle shown on the screen. By rolling the balls, I can move the targeting reticle from screen to screen, and to fire, all I need to do is point and click. It's pretty clever. It works so well because we got the computer doing most of the heavy lifting. On bigger ships, the gunners have a lot more physical control. A ship like this, it's more like playing a really intense video game. I never really liked those spaceship video games. I'd rather play a racing game or something instead. It's not too bad. Now the war's over, we're not shooting anyone anytime soon. So I get to spend all my time here listening to music and staring out into space. Pretty much perfect. Isn't there anything good? Yeah, a real classic album right now. Ever heard of Trish and the Replicants? No, sorry. Come by later and I'll lend you a cassette. It's pretty good for such an old band. Thanks for the offer. This once I was hoping he wouldn't be here. Oh? Yeah, this place would be such a good room to relax and take in the view of the stars. Day or night, he's always in here, either spacing out himself or drumming away. I'm so jealous. Most heads of operation would kill for a crew member who was at their station day or night, you know. This is weird. The only time I've seen him leave is when the ship's docked. I come by at all sorts of random times and he's always here. I don't like it. How much is that as jealousy? I guess we can move. So your quarters are down this way, huh? That's right. Why? I was wondering where you'd be. On Swift class, there's two different quarter sections. One has all the department chiefs, whilst the other has crew that works within those departments. Since you're the only security officer on board, I was wondering if you count as the department head or not. Oh, I guess I don't. I'm just slumming it. Oh, that's not... What I meant was that, I'm messing with you. Don't worry about it. The head of security is typically under the captain's instruction anyway, so it makes sense that my quarters are down this way. I guess so, when you put it like that. So have you met any of the other neighbors yet? Oh, let's see. Oh, let's poke the bear. Well, maybe security, but under normal circumstances, you can't just barge into someone's room without being invited in. This is Haru's room. They definitely heard what Hansen has to say about me. Probably best I don't run into him too often. Hansen Crwys. Yeah, I know this guy. Oh, you met him already? Not on the gun dog. I knew him back on the Calico. Is he the guy that you told me about? That's right. Not what you call my biggest fan. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Dalton's room. You could probably do with taking a little bit of time to relax every now and again. Dylan's room. Can't believe he only uses it when the ship's docked. As you step into your quarters, Cassandra follows you in. She stands by the door for a moment, looking around the room before turning to face you. Wow, you really like to keep it tidy, don't you? I only just got here. It's not a lot of time to make a mess. Are you kidding? I'm pretty sure my bag exploded in the moment I stepped into my quarters. Jovian military supplies just aren't what they used to be. Maybe it was operator error? What's that supposed to mean, Lieutenant? Nothing, just considering all possibilities. Wait, is that? What? Lieutenant Slide, don't tell me that. What is it? Your chair. It's not perfectly aligned with the terminal. Guess nobody's perfect, huh? I would have made more of an effort if I knew the officer doing spot checks was such a stickler. I suppose I won't have to report you to the captain this time, Lieutenant. Hey, wanna see something cool? I feel like this may be a bad idea, but go on. Alright, I've always loved your sense of adventure. Now check this out. If you work your fingers under the bottom of one of the panels by your bunk, You can take it off its mountings, and there's a recess behind it that you can stash contraband in. How about its floor panel? Did you know that if you use something strong enough, you can pry it open and it leads to a crawl space below the decks that you can use to get to other areas of the ship? Yeah. Alright, but I bet you didn't know that if you logged into your terminal and entered a secret code that you can play Snake. That too. Sorry. Well, fine. I guess you probably know every secret on the ship then. Well, not every secret, but I am a security officer. I've seen and caught every trick there is when it comes to contraband, crew breaking fraternization rules, or system exploits. You gotta get pretty technical to get past me. Wait, how do you know all this? Oh, well, that's, back to the tour. Yeah. This is the second set of crew quarters. For operations staff, that's me and Vanessa, department heads, and the captain have their quarters. Makes sense. Of course it's obvious why you'd come this way so soon after finding out I was part of the crew. What do you mean? I'm supposed to be meeting the captain soon. I know, and despite that, you let your libido guide you to my quarters, you animal. Let's maybe save that for later, okay? Jeez. Wow. This is Vanessa's room. She's great. We work together in operations. Oh yeah, you're friends already? Definitely. She's done so much for me already. She's always letting me know that she's covered for me when I'm late, and she's picked up some of my tasks when I'm running behind. She's a little angel. Cassandra, I've run your diagnostics again. I don't know what I'd do without her. Nameplate reads Cassandra Quinn. I don't really need an explanation on who that room belongs to. Have you met the chief yet? Chief? You mean Mackenzie Cathays? No, I haven't. She's cool, but she can be pretty scary sometimes. Scary? Yeah, she takes the role really seriously, so you don't want to get on the wrong side of her. Hey you, get out of my engine room and back on the bridge where you belong. Stop goofing off and playing around the hangar's low gravity, or I'll open the doors and throw you out into space. Well, it's like just about every chief engineer I've ever met. Oh no, she's pretty harsh. One time the junior engineer accidentally left a case full of rounds for an AF unbound, and when the ship took off, they floated everywhere. She made him collect each round and take it back to its storage crate one at a time. I think it took him almost an entire day. Yeah, still sounds like every chief engineer I've ever met. Not the Rosarium's room. You know, I bet he's not been in there since he's boarded. Oh, by the way, if you ever want access to my quarters, the passcode for the lock is 0211. It's pretty much the same passcode I use for everything. Wow. 0211. Got it. That's right, it's... I'm gonna say our anniversary. Come on, you didn't think I'd forget, did you? Hey, good job. Oh, wait. Before you go in, can you give me a few minutes just to tidy the place up? I was almost late for my duty shift this morning, so it's kind of a mess. I'll put some stuff away, okay? Yeah, sure. Put herself between you and the entrance to her room, Cassandra opens the door using the control panel to its right. As it opens, she swiftly steps through and, before it's even all the way open, she closes it again using the panel on her side of the entrance. The entire time she obstructs her view of her quarters. Thanks, won't be long, promise. Like this is gonna take a while. A few minutes pass and you continue to stand gingerly outside of Cassie's quarters. You hear the occasional footsteps coming from the four-side thoroughfare, and I'll move on to other parts of the ship. Thankfully, No one stops by to ask why security is lurking outside one of the operations officer's quarters. Hey, Cassie? Give the door a gentle knock, leaning against the wall, continuing to remain on lookout for anyone who may have some questions about what you're doing out there. How's it going in there? Oh yeah, almost done. Just give me a minute to get this sorted out. And the last pause is followed by a loud bang and the sound of a small cascade of various objects onto the floor. Okay, maybe a few more minutes. You sigh and step back from the door. Anyone asks, you can always tell them that you're doing spot checks for contraband or something similar. Done. Come in. And it's still a mess. Welcome. Make yourself at. As you step through the door, the toe of your boot catches onto a discarded pair of leggings, which are held in place by your other foot. As you begin to fall over, you reach out to catch on to something to stop yourself. Unfortunately, the chair you reach out for has a uniform thrown over the backrest, which slips as you grab it, bringing both the chair and the assortment of cosmetics on the seat clattering down to the floor with you. Oh no, Fox, are you okay? I'm sorry, I thought... Cassie? Yes? I thought you said you were tidying this place up? I was! Then why did I just get brained by a falling hairdryer? There was a system! You get back to your feet and right the chair as Cassie quickly grabs the assorted bottles and tubes that fell down with you, placing them randomly back on any nearby surface. You almost launch into a speech about securely stowing possessions in case of high-speed maneuvers, but you stop yourself. Doesn't the captain ever carry out spot checks or surprise inspections? No, it's great. From what I've heard, her quarters are a worse state than mine. Is that right? Cassie's bed currently appears to be acting as a makeshift wardrobe. Does she move all these clothes before she goes to sleep, or they act like an extra sheet? How does she even have this much clothing on board anyway? Front panel of the storage unit looks like it's barely managing to stay shut. Could that be what that bang was earlier? Like everything else in this room, this terminal appears to be in use as extra storage space. Even the chair is covered in stuff. Since Cassie's in operations, you'd think she'd make more use out of her terminal than anyone else on board. But I can't see how she uses it like this. So how are you finding the gun dog so far? Enjoying the tour? The ship's pretty much the same as every other one I've ever been stationed on. The tour's first class though. Maybe if working in naval operations doesn't work out, you can maybe start your own business as a tour guide back on Europa Colony? You think so? Definitely. You seem to have all the insider knowledge already, and you've only been stationed here a few days. Imagine all the insider knowledge you could share about Europa Colony. Yeah, you're right. And over here, we have the statue of the workers who built this colony. If you sneak around the back, you can get inside the plinth and hide from colony security if they catch you and your friends hanging out in the park after it's shut. Then again, you don't think that's the kind of thing people would want to know? Maybe a bit more about the workers first. Anyway. What do you want to do when we got some shore leave? Now that we're on the same ship, our shore leave will line up. You have anywhere you want to go? Anything you want to do? I hadn't thought about it. I guess this means that we'll be able to go on a lot more dates now. Oh, I know. Did you hear about that new colony they've added to the Europa cluster? It's got an ultra-efficient water handling plant, and the planters have included a water park. We should go as soon as it opens. A water park? What's that? You've never heard of a water park? Never. They're one of the coolest new features on the new colonies like they're building. They're like lots of big swimming pools with slides and rivers and all sorts. All the e-magazines are saying they're going to be the coolest things to do on the colonies once they're open. Pools and slides in the pools? but like really exciting. Huh. Okay. I guess when we're next docked, I'll see if I can book us some tickets. Awesome. So about your transfer from the Reliant. I know, we don't need to have this conversation. I've already had it from Captain Singh in my dismissal and from one of the senior resource officers. You're wasting your potential. You would make an excellent captain if you took your duties seriously. Your academy scores were excellent. I wasn't going to give you the speech, one of the only good things about not having parents is that I don't have to hear it from them too. Hey, Cassie. And it's the absolute worst hearing it from you, because I know that out of everyone, you're probably the only person that really cares. I wasn't going to give you the big speech about it. I figured I already had it from everyone else. Just wanted to make sure you were okay. I figured you were feeling worse than you let on. It's going to be okay, you know? A ship like this isn't the worst place to be for a while. If things work out okay, you can always put in for a transfer back to a bigger ship. The JCF is still building up its navy, so there'll be loads of opportunities. If that doesn't work out, there's still your career as a tour guide back on Europa. Yeah, you know it. Probably make a better tour guide than a ship operator anyway. I think you'd be great at whatever you decide to do, and whatever that is, I'll be here to support you through it. Cassie? You're so cheesy sometimes. Hey! Come here. How are you finding the gun dog so far? So you've been on a ship a few days now. How are you finding it? Well, it's not too bad. Obviously, it's not like being stationed on a Reliant. It's a whole lot smaller and there's way less people. But then there's also a lot less to do, so you get much more free time. Captain Bartermews is pretty lax compared to Captain Singh. And then I get the impression that this whole crew is a bunch of burnouts. Except for us. I obviously didn't mean that about you. Thanks. The captain's quarters sits at the end of the corridor, differentiated from the other doors in the corridor by a small insignia that sits above the nameplate. Like the others in the corridor, it displays the occupant's name, in this case Captain Merys Bartermews. Even in your role as security officer, there are a few rooms on the ship that you don't have access to. Captain's quarters is one of them. There's nothing for you here right now, so return back. Vending. Alright. I guess we can go to the airlock? And this is the main airlock. It's the main way to get on and off the ship when it's docked. Thanks, but I've already been here. Oh, really? When? Actually, I think I'm confusing it with somewhere else. What else can you tell me? Well, it's got one of the best views on the ship, for one thing. You look around but can't see any windows. You wouldn't expect to on a military vessel where an inclusion like that could compromise the structure. Here? Really? Yeah, really. Check it out. Cassandra strides over to the terminal, set into the wall next to the airlock hatch, and quickly begins typing commands into it. You hear a sequence of beeps and she stands back, gesturing proudly to the screen. Not too bad, huh? Look at the screen. All you can see is a dark display with a few errant pixels suspended on it. Is that working? Of course it's working. Look. You stare a little harder at the screen, and although it takes you a moment, you eventually realize that's an external feed. That's right. Normally you can only see out of the gun dog from either the bridge or the hangar. But but the ship's covered in small cameras for combat situations. You can access the feeds from the terminals around the ship. That's actually pretty cool, but is the view from the bridge or the hangar better? You know, because they're actually looking out? Well, maybe, but there's always someone else around. You never get the view to yourself. No one ever comes here and it's so quiet. It's almost like you're out there. I guess I can see what you mean. It's pretty quiet out this way, and with a fancy screen like that, it's basically a real view. I knew you'd understand. I had to command to your terminal access. That way you can come out here and see the stars whenever you want. Thanks. I'll leave those where they are. I'm not going anywhere, and usage of emergency supplies has to be reported. Well, let's just look. These spacesuits are for emergencies only. Every crew member has an assigned suit that's stored near their main station. These suits are here in case of evacuation when those stations aren't inaccessible. Underneath that panel is the manual control for the external airlock hatch, just in case of mechanical or power failure. I had to open one as part of a drill before, and it's not easy. Aside from the fact that it controls the airlock, it's a terminal like any other. Although with the silence, I suppose this one's good for getting a relaxing view of the stars. This is the main crew airlock for crew use. It's used to load and offload basic supplies and equipment. Everything else is brought in through the hangar airlock. So do you come out to the airlock a lot? Define a lot. More than once for coming on board and once for departing? There's nothing wrong with hanging out in the airlock. Sometimes you just need a bit of personal space. On a small ship like this, it's the only place you can really get some time to yourself. Even on a big ship like the Reliant, there's not many places to get away from everyone. I just find it relaxing to know I'm this close to being out in space, away from everything, everyone. Sometimes it feels like I was made to be out there, not cooped up in here. I didn't know you enjoyed that part of space. For most people, looking out into the expanse for too long triggers kind of existential dread. I knew a guy on another ship. I couldn't bear to look out into space. I start getting the jitters whenever he did. Sometimes if he got drunk on duty, he'd start saying all kinds of weird stuff about how humanity's souls were never meant to be unbound from gravity. I don't know, it's just like there's something out there that's calling me, you know? Oh, that's until I'm late for my shift and the captain sends me out a shipwide message telling me to haul ass up to the bridge. Now there's something calling me. As the two of you leave the central hub behind you and travel down the Aftside thoroughfare, the hum of the engines continues to grow louder. You effectively filtered out the noise in the rest of the ship, but as you got closer to the rear, its volume increased considerably. Are the engines supposed to be that loud? Are the what? I said, are the engines supposed to be that loud? The what? I said, are the engines? I heard you the first time, I'm just messing with you. You could have fooled me. I've never been on a ship where the engines are so noticeable. Is it supposed to be like that? Supposed to? No, not really. The Gundog is a Swift class type of patrol ship that's designed for rapid response. They're made to cover large areas of space quickly and offer basic assistance to ships in distress. That or to be first on the scene to gather intel and issue warnings if anyone comes too close to the Jovian space. Which means, design-wise, they prioritize speed above everything else. I guess the best way to sum it up is that the Gundog is basically a huge set of engines with a tiny ship strapped to them. Well, that's reassuring. Oh, it's fine. It just means there's no space for systems like motion dampers or soundproofing. You'll miss it when you leave. That way leads to the engineering block. From there, you can access the engine room, the main computer, and most of the ship's systems. Although, you won't be going anywhere near those systems if the chief has anything to say about it. Down that corridor is the armory where all the ship's firearms are stored. Normally, access has to be granted from the bridge, but since you're the security officer, you got access coded into your keycard. There's an upside to the vibrations coming from the engines. Oh yeah? Check this out. You watch as Cassandra crouches down, picks out a pin from her pocket, and lays it on the floor. As soon as she removes her hand, it begins to slowly edge away from her, moved by the vibrations carried through the ship. Ta-da! That's great. I know, right? Back in Reliant, we used to go to the engine rooms and race stationary on the gangways near the engines. I had a red pen that moved 3 times faster than anything else. Good Gundam joke. Really appreciate it. 3 times faster, huh? You know it. Can't believe I lost it, though. Hey, what have you got in your tiny pockets? My keycard and a pack of gum, why? A race is on. First from this panel to that panel. Loser buys us something from the vending machine. Okay, let's go with the keycard. You place your keycard on the floor next to the pin and stand up. A tense 30 seconds follows as the 2 objects slowly jitter their way along the floor, almost neck and neck the entire way. Come on, Biro, you got this. You can do this, keycard. The sporting event of the century looks like it'll end in a draw. At the last moment, Cassandra's pin pivots on its axis, allowing your keycard to take the lead and pass over the seam between one floor panel and the next. Ha! All right. Oh man, Pin, you let me down. Vending machine treat is on you then. Wait, that's 2 out of 3? You swipe your keycard through the card reader set into the terminal by the Armory's door. Instead of the door opening as you would expect, you hear a harsh tone from the terminal. Looking at its screen, you see a message displayed in large flashing letters. Access denied. Insufficient authority. It looks like your clearance hasn't been fully processed yet. You have to meet the captain before you can get into that room. As the 2 of you continue through the aft thoroughfare, the thrum of the engines grows louder still. The featureless paneling has made it up. The majority of the ship's interior quickly gives way to visible pipes and conduits, and eventually the smooth flooring transitions to grating, revealing more workings underfoot. Finally, the thoroughfare leads into one huge open chamber filled with masses of machinery. Terminal panels set into the side of various apparatus cycle through different readings. The light from screens reflected off ducts and valves. All this equipment is separated by a grid of catwalks and access ladders. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is right. This is central engineering. Pretty much every system aside from the engines themselves and a central computer can be found in this room. All in one place? Isn't that a little risky? Well, a Civ-class ship relies on absolutely minimal crew. The Gundog only has 2 engineers. I think they figured it would be easier on them if everything that was important was kept in one place. That way, they don't have to run from one end of the ship to the other, get all their repairs done if something goes wrong. You certainly know a lot about ship engineering. What can I say? I'm a pretty talented individual. Oh yeah? Once we're here, you can share some of that knowledge. What's that over there? That's the phonetic conversion unit. And what's that? Oh, that's the omnifaceted wane shaft. What about that? That's the turbo encabulator? Every day's a school day. I'm head of operations, not chief engineer, okay? I don't need to know what... Hey, no one better be screwing around up there. You both jump as a stern voice barks at you from below. Looking down, you see through the grating that there's another catwalk situated below the one you're stood on with a crew member moving at speed towards the ladder that joins the 2 walkways. I swear, if I find so much as a single terminal readout out of place, I'm stuffing the 2 of you into the organics processing system. I had to retrieve one more pin from behind the compressors. The crew member continues to grumble as they ascend. Quinn, you better not be here to tell me that your favorite pin has somehow fallen into the system block again. Hello? No, Chief. Got it right here. Damn straight you do. Make sure you hang on to that one, or you're gonna need someone to pull you out of the system block instead. Who's this? A wayward security officer? Got a name there? You quickly throw a sharp salute at the woman in front of you, not even checking her rank first. Not only does she loom over you physically, but you quickly pick up on a force personality that feels like it adds an extra 6 inches to her considerable stature. Lieutenant Sly, security officer for the JFS Gundog, ma'am. Listen to that ma'am business, Sly. Name's Mackenzie Cathays, chief engineer, but that's chief to you. Yes, chief. Damn straight. And what are the two of you doing in engineering? I was just giving Lieutenant Sly a tour of the ship, chief. That's so. You ever been on a ship before, Lieutenant? First assignment? Never on a Swift class, chief. Only ever served on strike or supply classes to date. That's so. Which strike vessels? JFS Victory and JFS Thunderbolt, chief. Victory and Thunderbolt, huh? I don't think either of those two are less than 3 years old. But you probably wouldn't have seen with the new streamlined distribution systems. I wonder if you've seen the power coils, though. I think the Victory was part of that production. You and Cassandra exchange quick nervous glances as the chief, who previously seemed like she was about to physically throw both of you out of engineering, really begins a conversation with herself. You continue to stand to nervous attention as she ruminates about ship components. Chief, is there anything I can help you with about those ships? Oh, huh? Lieutenant, didn't realize you were still here. No, you're off the hook, Sly. Unless you can tell me whether the Victory was outfitted with the 3rd generation BPAP upgrades anyway. Sorry, Chief. I think I could. That's because the retrofitting takes into account space availability in the ship's interior for minimal traversal impact. Although maybe it could be that it takes... I think now would be a good time for us to move on. Good idea. Well, that's all, Chief. We'll just be, going now. Oh yeah, sure. Just don't let me catch you screwing around in here again. I like her. Yes, Lieutenant? Well, Chief, I'm just stopping by to... Tell me, Sly, what is it that the ship security officer on a vessel with only 10 crew does all day? Oh, so that is... Because I'll tell you what a chief engineer does. A chief engineer spends every damn minute of the day trying to keep pace with all the systems on board this vessel, making sure they're all running absolutely flawlessly. You know why? It's because if I don't, it's a thin line between optimum comfort and a horrific death in the cold expanse we call space. So I'll be frank, Lieutenant. Unless you're about to help me redirect these condensers while refresh the primary moisture chamber, I don't know what good is going to come from you hanging around and distracting me. Understood? Yes, Chief. All done. If you really wanted something to do, you can go and check up with the junior engineer in the hangar. It's probably slowed down since I last put the fear of the void into him. Wow. Okay, but really, when Chief says we shouldn't screw around in here, she's right. We should probably get moving. What did you do? Why would you say that? Really though, what did... Who the hell dropped a chocolate bar onto the secondary moisture converter? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! It's melted into the outlet valve. I'll kill him! God damn it, Cassie. You swipe your key card through the card reader and set into the terminal by the door leading into the central computer. The door doesn't open and instead you hear a harsh tone from the terminal, which is now displaying an error message. Looking at its screen, you see a message displayed in large flashing letters. Access denied. Insufficient authority. Even with your security clearance, you won't be able to go into the main computer room, because the staff is so small the ship's computer handles a lot of tasks that would normally be done by the crew. It controls a lot of really sensitive functions, so only the captain and the operations team are allowed access. Oh, I don't think any of the ships I've been on have had a computer system like this. The bigger ships usually have their computing distributed amongst multiple systems across the ship. But because they've also got large crews, there's more that the people on board are responsible for. I think that because Swift class is so small and there's such a limited crew, we need to assign more functionality to the computer. Because of that, it's a lot more vital that no one screws around with it. Let's see. You said that operations has access. Can we take a look using your authority? Well, since the whole reason I'm here is that I didn't exactly take my responsibilities with Reliance computer system seriously, the captains told me not to mess around with it. Huh. It's not that interesting anyway. The two of you watch from around the corner as Chief Cathays, continuing to mutter to herself, paces back and forth checking terminal readouts and various displays. Eventually she heads down the ladder as she climbed to confront you. Down to sight, Cassandra darts toward the engine room, gesturing you over. Checking over your shoulder in case the chief has reappeared, you make your way to her. Just in time for the doorway to the engine room to open, Cassandra to disappear inside before you can raise an objection. Oh, it's gotta be better than staying here with the chief. The room you find yourself in is similar size to the area you just left, but whilst that was crammed full of a huge range of machinery, this room is also entirely filled by one colossal cylindrical device. The pulse of the engine is now a tangible sensation as the vibrations it emits shake your whole body. So this is the main engine. Well, one of them anyway. Like Chief said, the ship's outfitted with two of these. I see what you meant now when you said that the gun dog's a huge set of engines with a ship strapped to them. The thing's massive. I know. I look at it and feel like you could probably fit the rest of the ship in this room if the engine room weren't there. That's because it's impossible to get the Higgs field distortion drive any smaller. Chief! Chief! I know you said that, these engines are actually combination nuclear pulse engines built around a Higgs field distortion drive. If the HFDD weren't here, then this engine could be about 10 times smaller than it is. Although, I hear they're managed to improve the efficiency of the newer NPEs, so it's possible that the space saving could be more like 11 times smaller. Can either of you two tell me how an HFDD works? HFDD? Higgs field distortion drive. What are they teaching you at the academy? It's a drive that allows ships to move far beyond speeds allowed by conventional engines, although it's nowhere near faster than light. It's what lets us get around the solar system without needing to worry about whether we'll live long enough to see the end of the journey. Anyway, everyone knows about the existence of a Higgs field. It's what allows interactions with the Higgs boson and gives particles their mass. Oh, right. So what the drive does is work the field relative to the ship and those on board. By doing this, it displaces the mass to a different area of the space, but within the same relative. As the chief continues on with her explanation, you glance at Cassandra and see a thinly veiled look of terror on her face. You can't blame her, as you feel much the same way caught in this impromptu lecture. Then, because the particles retain their relationship with each other, the general perception is that things are the same as normal. However, from an exterior perspective, the lecture drags on and you quickly lose track of the chief's explanation. Although you recognize the words she's saying, you can no longer make sense of the context, and they come to seem like a meaningless string of sounds. Does that make sense? Yes. So the field is it's got the mass, which is pushed? No! How to put it? Okay, so imagine that space is a ketchup packet that you're the sauce. The sauce? Right, the sauce. Now, what the distortion drive does, it's like a thumb on the universe of the packet. It moves the sauce around by changing the shape of the packet to push the sauce. The packet is the universe. We're the sauce. And the drive is a thumb? You got it. You quickly glance back to Cassandra and meet her eyes as she's doing the same thing. know for certain that neither of you have gotten. And that's why these engines had to be so big. And how's that drive? Well, it all makes sense now. I see, yes, definitely. Great. Well, now that you've appreciated the science behind it, we'll have to throw you out of here. Thanks, Chief. Anytime, just remember, Lieutenant. Yes, Chief? Screw if anything, and I'll throw you out of an airlock instead. Yes, Chief. Sauce? One of the ship's 2 engines. Apparently it's that big because it's a combination of standard nuclear pulse engine and a Higgs field distortion drive. I think I almost lost consciousness when the Chief was explaining it to me. So where the sauce? She's still on sauce. Right. And the universe is the packet? I thought the field was the packet. But then is the field in the universe or the universe in the field? We're gonna have some very theoretically challenging meal times. There's so much going on in here that I've got no idea what anything is. This could be a waste processing unit, or it could be life support. Oh, sorry, Chief. What was that? This unit's part of the life support system. To be exact, this part is an assessment center of sorts. It continuously samples the atmosphere on board the ship to ensure that it's at an optimum level to keep us all alive. There's so much machinery in here. If what Cassie says is true, and that all the ship systems are packed in here, anything. Certainly getting off a lot of heat, though. That's the power distribution module. It's you, Chief. What is it? Power distribution module. It's situated above the Gundog's main reactor, and this is the system which distributes the power to all the ship's various systems. Oh, is that right? The central computer room. Mainframe for all the ship's terminals is in there, but apparently can only be accessed by the captain. I don't think we've seen everything. One of the ship's engine rooms is that way, surprising no one. It contains an engine. So we've been everywhere. Guess we're going to the bridge. You step from the elevator onto the bridge, and what seems to have been a pretty quiet atmosphere turns totally silent as the 2 women present who have been previously observed on a screen turn to face you. You identify the captain almost immediately by her uniform, although you're giving pause to wonder if you've misjudged as she listlessly straightens up and heads over to you with an air of disinterest. The other woman shoots you a look but remains seated at her station, quickly turning away when she realizes you caught her looking at your way. You presume from her position on the bridge she must be a member of the operations like Cassandra. This must be Vanessa, she mentioned. Lieutenant Fox Sly, entering the bridge and reporting for formal assignment. You declare, throwing a sharp salute, Cassandra quickly following suit. Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn, entering the bridge, accompaniment of Lieutenant Sly. Taken aback slightly as you realize that you've hardly ever seen Cassie be so serious about anything, even her position. Whenever she's had to talk about her assignments, it's always been dismissive or in a joking way. Caught so off guard that you almost missed the captain addressing you. At ease, Lieutenant Commander. You and Cassie both lower your salutes and loosen your posture slightly. There's a slight pause, which you can tell is the captain sizing you up. This informal assessment lasts a little bit longer than you're comfortable with, until the captain releases a heavy sigh. Welcome aboard, Lieutenant. I was beginning to get worried that the notification we had that you come aboard had been a system issue. I trust that you haven't had too hard of a time finding your way to the bridge to introduce yourself. No, ma'am. I was just... Glance over to Cassandra, who's maintaining a completely straight face. We can check out anywhere you want before we head up there. Yeah, right. Fix your gaze straight ahead. This wouldn't be the first time that Cassandra's lackadaisical attitude had gotten you in trouble with higher-ups. I was just familiarizing myself with the ship in case I came up with any queries that I could field to you. Oh, is that so? Anything you'd like to ask? No, ma'am. Very good. Well, I'm glad you can make it. Eventually. This mission is an urgent one, which is why we departed as soon as you came aboard without a formal reception. Thinking about it, it was unusual that there hadn't been a formal onboarding process beyond the dock staff checking your ID and adding you to the gun dog. You not realize in your rush, but now it was obvious. But it did make sense that if this was an urgent dispatch, the ship would launch as soon as all of its crew were on board. My apologies, ma'am. My transport was running late. Yes, you've been sent word. It wouldn't have anything to do with you. Would it? No, ma'am. There was a breakdown on the... Anyway, Lieutenant, I'd like to take the opportunity to formally welcome you to the JFS Gundog. My name is Captain Merys Bartermews. I run as tight a ship as you'd expect. I anticipate that you'll carry out your duties to the same standard. Yes, ma'am. From experience, most onboarding procedures have involved greetings and speeches from the captain that range from serious to almost ceremonial. In comparison, Captain Bartermews' introduction is almost lethargic. Your card, Lieutenant? Yes, ma'am. Okay. She inspects it for a moment before taking it to a control panel near the captain's chair. Remaining in position, not quite at ease, but not quite at attention. Watch as she enters some commands into the console and inserts your card into a slot. There's a whirring sound followed by a series of beeps, where your card is ejected and the captain takes it back. Okay, good. Fast travel. Okay. That's a nice little quality of life. Hey, Kanosuke. That's cool. Air control, S hall. With this, Lieutenant Sly, you now have access to all areas and authorities befitting the ship's security detail. The responsibilities begin with immediate effect. Thank you, ma'am. You're also now authorized to take an appropriate electroshock weapon in the armory. If you have any further questions, then you know where to find me. Dismissed. Excuse me, Lieutenant. I'm currently on duty, so I'd appreciate it if you did not disturb me. Lieutenant Lord. Lieutenant Sly is the ship's head of security. Since I'm here, you can take time to introduce yourself formally. Great. I've got this. Scene 5. So you're the security officer that Cassandra's been going on about. That's right, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Flux Fly. Pleased to meet you. Well, I'm Vanessa Lord. I serve on the bridge as part of the operations. Cassandra's told me a lot about you. Is that right? What kind of... I'm disappointed that you're nowhere near as attractive as she made you out to be. Oh, is that right? I thought it was too good to be true, that some dashing officer would be transferred here at the last moment. Instead, we just got another lunk. Well, how was it that you even got transferred here on such short notice? I was looking over your records earlier, and you were mid-assignment on the Duke. Why would I transfer you instead of... Whoa, hey, look at the time. I think your break's over. Lieutenant Commander Quinn, I think Vanessa needs to get back to her station. Of course. I hope this is the start of a productive working relationship between the two of you. Vanessa, I'll catch up with you later, okay? Oh, God. Yes, Lieutenant? Captain, I received my posting to the gun dog. I was informed of my role, but I didn't receive the ship's briefing documents. If I may, what's the gun dog's objective? We've been alerted by another Swift-class patrol vessel, the O'Brien, about signals coming from the edge of our territory. The O'Brien is currently on a solo patrol in outer Jovian space. We've been sent to provide backup or support as necessary. Of course, if something were to attack two Swifts, it's not as if they could put up much of a fight. Really? It's more that we're out there so that if anything does happen, at least one vessel will be able to get away and warn the colony fleet. I see. Oh, did I just say that out loud? Yes, ma'am. Forget what I just said. That's an order. Yes, ma'am. That's the captain's chair. Although the majority of the ship can be controlled by the operations staff, there's a few select systems that only the captain can authorize. They're all done from that chair. You need a captain's clearance level to access them though, so it's not like you can just sit down to activate them. With the exception of some physical controls, a ship the size of the Gundog can be controlled entirely from the bridge. Navigation, automated combat systems, security measures, you name it, can all be done by a few crew members in this room. With the exception of some... Oh, okay, same thing. The bridge is one of the few places on any ship where you can actually see out into space. When in combat, these windows are covered by blast shutters, and the bridge's crew rely on sensors and small cameras mounted on the ship's exterior. Yes, Lieutenant? How can I be of assistance? Cassie, you're being respectfully Lieutenant Sly. I would appreciate if you'd address me as Lieutenant Commander Quinn. I see. Yeah, let's just get out of here. Alright, so we're going to the Armory. Swipe your key card through the card reader set into the terminal by the Armory's door. There's a slight delay, but quickly enough the terminal flashes the message, access granted, and the door slides open. The first thing you notice about the Armory is that the benches and lockers remind you of the changing rooms in the training center back at the military academy on Europa Colony. As you walk past them, you take a closer look and realize they're the same kind of benches used on larger ships you've been stationed on. The ones with sports facilities and changing rooms on board. Instead of sports clothing and equipment, these lockers are filled with a selection of combat gear, from body armor to electro-shock weapons to a variety of small and light weapons. You know, this is the first time I've ever actually been inside a ship's armory. That's not really surprising. It's only the security detail that would have access. Even in a situation where a ship's expecting to encounter a boarding party, it's security's responsibility to distribute weaponry to the crew in advance. It's to ensure there's no panic and that crew don't get a hold of weaponry they're not trained to use. Huh. That's standard regulation. You should know that. Well, all I remember from my firearm training was when I dropped my electro-shot weapon and accidentally zapped one of the other girls from operations. Our trainer made me use a hand crank battery charger to recharge all the power packs as punishment. That must have taken forever. You bet. You should have seen my gun show afterwards. Pew pew. Which reminds me, the captain said I was authorized to collect my sidearm. I should get it whilst I'm here. This locker contains a variety of small arms and light weapons, only for use against external hostile forces. Even then, their stopping power is relatively low because of the dangers of using live rounds inside a ship. This locker contains electroshock weapons. They're non-lethal and intended to be used for crew control, in case of a mutiny or violence that breaks out for some other reason. Spacesuits in here are for the ship's security detail. They're a little more robust than the suits handed out to the rest of the crew, but for obvious reasons. But aside from that, they don't offer much of a tactical advantage. This is the weapons locker with the electroshock weapons in. I'm authorized to take one small weapon from here as part of my role as security officer. This one will do. You got an electro-shotgun. What's that? Just my standard issue duty weapon for my role as security officer. Fires a barbed projectile that contains miniature battery. It's non-lethal, but more than enough to stop someone in their tracks. I see. Absolutely not. Aw, come on. So have you ever got to use any firearms? Why do you ask? Well, I know you're security, but you never tell me about anything exciting. I always imagine you facing down bad guys with some scary pistol the size of my forearm, saying cool lines like, "How many shots did I fire?" I don't know myself, but the question is, do you feel lucky, bub? You've been watching way too many old movies. Aw, not even once? Most of my job has been dealing with crew members who get a bit touchy after being cooped up on the ship for too long and start fights with each other. Even then, I just tend to break things up and then talk them down. Most of the time, no one even ends up in the brig. You gotta have done something more exciting than that. Well, I knew you were an exciting action hero. Tell me. So this one time, a pilot found out that someone on the maintenance team had been trying to hit on his girlfriend. He got so mad that he got into his armored frame and used it to corner the guy in the hangar. No way. He was threatening to turn the guy into paste and had made a real mess of some cargo containers. Because the hangars are a low gravity zone, I was able to make a jump from the gangway to the armored frame and then overrode the cockpit access from outside. The pilot was too focused on this engineer to notice me. Whoa, a frame jack? Did you use a cool line when the cockpit opened? You're on someone your own size or something? No way. I put 50,000 volts into the guy's shoulder the second I had a clear shot. Oh, come on, you're no fun. Well, I think we're good. We can move. With Cassandra leading the way, two of you leave the armory behind you and step into the aft thoroughfare. Cassandra pauses for a moment, looking left and looking right before turning back to face you with a smile on her face. Well, that's it, Fox. Consider yourself officially acquainted with all there is to be acquainted with on board the one and only JFS Gundog. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I did. It's probably up there in my top 5 ship orientations. Top 5? Okay, you're right. Top 3. What? Maybe a triple shift to start your time aboard the Gundog is more to your taste. Well, that did happen to me on board the Thunderbolt, so if that didn't happen, I guess it'd definitely be my favorite orientation ever. What a coincidence. Looks like your schedule's clear until tomorrow morning. Oh, in that case, 5 stars. Great tour, especially the guide. Now that the tour's over, your duties don't formally begin until tomorrow. If you want, we can take another look at anywhere on the ship, or if you want to call it a day, that's cool too. I think I'll call it a day. I think that's enough for now. I should probably go over the mission logs before tomorrow and get an early night. I know the captain seems pretty relaxed. I don't want to make a habit of late starts. It's not responsible. I've got the late shift tonight, so maybe I'll get a nap in too. The two of you leave the after affair behind you as you both head back to your quarters. Cassandra being on board has been a huge surprise, but having spent this time with her, you found that all the anxiety you've been feeling when you boarded has completely disappeared. Continue to chat casually about your schedules, the mission, and your plans for your next shore leave. Eventually, you reached a four-side thoroughfare and you turn down the corridor that leads to your quarters. Okay, I'll see you soon then. Well, look who it is. The Calico Coward. You don't even need to look beyond Cassandra to know who's standing at the entrance to the corridor. Although, you'd recognize the mocking tone anywhere. The real giveaway is the nickname, one you thought you escaped a long time ago. Hansen Crwys, or as you knew him, Calico 3. One of the members of the Calico Squadron who'd been taking a part in the battle, he'd been the only one to return. Even then, that had only been after the ceasefire had been signed. 13 hours after he launched. From what you heard from the other members, he'd survived by playing a game of cat and mouse with the enemy forces in the debris field. Shutting down the majority of his systems and hiding amongst the wreckage, being able to launch surprise attacks, taking down his pursuers one by one. When he came back to the Calico and saw your armored frame still suspended from its restraints, he instantly blamed you for the squad being wiped out. If you'd taken off when you were supposed to, he argued, the squadron would have been at full strength, enough to survive the surprise attack. No amount of technical data or arguing that it had been physically impossible for you to launch would change his mind. The destruction of the Calico Squadron was on your hands. The worst bit was that you weren't entirely sure he was wrong. What's up, Lieutenant Fox? You're not thinking of finishing your first day without meeting an old friend, right? Haru came and told me that some lieutenant called Fox Sly was our new security officer. I had to come and take a look. No way could it be that wimp from back on the Calico. He had been dishonorably discharged for dereliction of duty. And I guess the JCF is so desperate that they'll hang on to anybody, no matter how much of a screw-up they are. How'd you end up here, Sly? They decided you couldn't handle a full-side ship, so they had to put you with the smallest crew they could find? You instinctively make your hands into fists, but you'll clench them quickly before Hansen notices. You haven't been stationed on the same ship as him since the Calico, but you ran into him a few times on board the colonies while you were both on shore leave. Each time he had ended badly. You almost lash out at Hansen, but stop yourself before you do. The two of you are on the ship together, whether you like it or not. The last thing you want is let him know that he can get a rise out of you so easily. You fight the urge to just draw your electro-shock weapon here and now. It'd be easy to put an end to this that way, I think, but you know that in the long term, it'd probably be the worst decision you could make. Instead, you grit your teeth. Stand down, Ensign. This kind of behavior is out of line. Oh no, what are you gonna do, Lieutenant? Confine me to the quarters? On what grounds? Hurting your feelings? Give me a break. Where was a spine 4 years ago, huh? You're happy to throw your weight around against your comrades, but not the enemy? See what I was saying, Haru? Lieutenant here is a coward and has been since day one. Won't fight, won't even stand up for himself. Ensign Crwys, you stop this right now. Lieutenant Sly is... And stand up for yourself, so getting this ditz to do it for you? Is it, Lieutenant? Crwys, you stop this right now and apologize, or I'll order Lieutenant Sly to throw you into solitary and write you up myself. You're welcome to try, Lieutenant Commander, but I don't think your security officer's got it in him to even try. You think you can take me on, Sly? I'm gonna go strong and silent. Doing the best you can to stop yourself from snapping at Hansen and giving him the reaction he wants you. You cross both your arms and plant your feet firmly, shoulder width apart. You meet his eyes with a matter-of-fact stare, hoping in Texas to mean that you're not going to stoop to his level. Ooh, very scary, Lieutenant. Very tough. What, hoping I'll put myself in a naughty corner, is it? Nice try. Hansen steps past Cassie and right up to you, his face inches from yours. He places his right fist into his left hand and cracks his knuckles. He's so close that you can feel his breath on your face as he sneers at you. What's the matter, Lieutenant? Nothing to say? Why don't you show me how tough you can be? Come on then, Lieutenant. What's it gonna be? Gonna show me who's boss on board this ship? Gonna make me obey that order? You wanna think long and hard about what you're gonna do, Lieutenant? Never know when you're gonna need a friend like me. I mean, we're all crewmates here, right? I'm not heartless. I can help losers like you out if you've done me a solid or two. But maybe you should just act like a professional for once. Or are you gonna do something stupid and show the Lieutenant Commander that you're just as much of a screw-up as she is? You take a deep breath and... Ugh. Hansen's breath hot on your face, you do everything you can not to bat an eye at that last comment. But despite your best effort, your hands are clenched in the fist. As much as you'd like to put 50,000 volts through him for insubordination, insulting a senior officer, you know that would be letting him win. Instead, you glare into the ensign's eyes for a few more seconds. You can almost feel Hansen's hatred for you radiating from him like an aura, and it takes all the bravado you can muster not to step down. The two of you stand like this for longer than you'd like until... Would you two knock it off already? I'm on duty this evening and I don't want to have to update the captain that both our new security officer and lead pilot are in the sick bay. All because their egos are too big to be on the same ship together. So both of you stand down. That's an order. Both you and Hansen are taken aback for a moment, like two school children who've been caught in a playground squabble. You turn from Cassie to Hansen and back, trying to come up with something to say. Similarly, Hansen's air of machismo has been dented by the surprise outburst. No, I don't want to hear it from either of you. You're both in the JCF, so maybe you should start acting like it. Hansen Crwys, I want you to report to the chief at 0400. You're helping her clean out the organic processing filters. As for you, Lieutenant Sly, we'll discuss this later. Hey, you can't. Ensign, piss off. That's an order. For the first time since you met him, Hansen looks lost for words. He stands here for a moment, mouth agape. Yeah, Lieutenant Commander, I hear you loud and clear. Hansen thrusts both of his hands into his jacket pockets, turning on his heel and heading away towards the thoroughfare. He cocks his head, gesturing to Haru to follow him as he leaves. Though the pair are fully out of sight, he turns back to face the two of you. Good thing someone on this crew is able to keep everyone in line. Doesn't seem like our security officer's up to the task. This parting shot fired, both Haru and Hansen disappear around a corner. You and Cassie stand there, watching the space where they've been. Cassie crosses her arms as she taps her foot furiously. What an absolute dick. I told you he's a real... And you, what was that performance all about? I've told you about him. He doesn't back down. You got to... I know, but you can't let him get to you like that. Otherwise, he'll just keep coming time after time until one of you does something they regret. You pause for a moment. You feel your cheeks grow flush. You're suddenly filled with a sense of shame for being caught out acting so childishly. Hey, don't worry about it. I know what the two of you have been through. And to be honest, I figured he was a real asshole from the moment I met him. Plus, he's gonna be busy helping the chief clean out those filters for the next month. But don't worry too much about running into him much anytime soon. Still feeling a bit sheepish about your behavior in front of Cassie, managed to smirk. Thanks for stepping in there. Shouldn't have stooped to his level. Don't worry about it. Just take it easy and don't let what he said get to you. I'm gonna go get ready for my shift, so I'll see you soon. Sure. I guess I'll catch you in the morning. Sounds good. Oh, and one more thing. What's that? Cassie steps forward, places her hands on your waist, stands on her tiptoes, raising her face up to yours. You close your eyes and tilt your head slightly in response. At the moment her lips meet yours, forget everything that just happened. All you can focus on is the softness and delicate warmth. After a moment, Cassie slowly moves back, and you open your eyes to find her gazing at you intently. Both share the same gentle smile before she steps away. Sleep well, Fox. As Cassie walks away, she spins on her heels, gives you a quick wave, and then turns back, heading further down the corridor. As you step into your quarters and head over to your bunk, the door hisses shut behind you. You stand there for a moment, a smile still on your face before you let out a sigh and sit down. Staring at nothing in particular, you mull over the day's events and Cassie's words from earlier. Big day ahead tomorrow, huh? You sigh. We'll see.